The Declaration of Independence grants us the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But why would Thomas Jefferson choose to include the pursuit of happiness? What did he even mean? Hello, my name is Ethan Benenson. I'm 12 years old, and I'm here to think out loud my expert 12-year-old opinion about happiness and even love. Like I said before, I'm only 12 years old, so most of my life experience comes from avoiding homework and chores. Just kidding, most of my life experience comes from reading books. I first started thinking about happiness when I read 1984 by George Orwell. I know you must be surprised, because when many people think of 1984, they think of Big Brother is watching you, and a dark book that warns of the dangers of an authoritarian and totalitarian government where people live in constant fear. And all of that is true, but I think of 1984 as a book about happiness. It was the first dystopian novel that I'd ever read. I remember shivering while reading it, partly because my dad was refusing to turn on the heat, but mainly because it was scary. I know what you're thinking. How does scary even connect to happy? Well, hold your horses and let me explain. In 1984, Big Brother is an all-powerful leader who brainwashes people to believe it is their patriotic duty to love him. But Big Brother makes people live in devastation and in fear of each other. When I was reading 1984, I wondered, how can people love Big Brother when he causes so much destruction? This is what I figured out. Big Brother creates chaos and fear and blames it all on the enemy to divert the people's attention from their suffering. And this makes it easy to show himself as the only one who cares for them, and that's how Big Brother makes people happy. So what would you call this when a person blindly believes that only their leader knows what's best for them? I Googled it, and the term that I thought fit best was blind patriotism. And in 1984, I know it sounds a little corny, but only love could open people's eyes to the truth. In fact, the book tells the story of a man named Winston who fell in love with a woman named Julia and realized that the happiness he used to feel from his blind patriotism was based on nothing but deliberate lies. How did he realize? Nobody told Winston it was his patriotic duty to love Julia. His love and care for her came from within. And so the happiness that followed came from himself too, showing Winston that he did not need Big Brother to be happy. Now, I don't think Thomas Jefferson read 1984 in 1776, but he definitely thought about what makes for a happy society. He believed that the people themselves should decide how to pursue happiness and how to be happy, not some King George or some dictator. He believed that a happy society was made of happy individuals, and that's why I think he wanted every American to have the right and freedom to the pursuit of happiness. Now you better be brave when you listen to this part, because you're going to learn about a scary new world. Did anyone guess it? Well, it's called Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and I think this book is also about happiness. It's very interesting because Brave New World is kind of different, yet kind of the same, 1984. Let me elaborate. Rather than a Big Brother controlling people through rage and hate, people are controlled through soma. It is a drug that people take when they are feeling sad, embarrassed, angry, any kind of negative emotion, and it makes them feel happy, joyous, and content. But in reality, people's lives are messed up and flawed. Brace yourself and listen to this. Family, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, gone through genetic engineering. Your brothers and sisters were 95 other identical twins, and your mother, a single egg. Love for books, beauty, flowers, nature, all gone too. Why are all these things gone? So that people rely on soma for happiness. Because when people rely on a drug, they become obedient and easy to control. But then there's the other question. Why is love gone? Because if people have love, they don't need soma. Like in 1984, if people have love, they don't need Big Brother. There's an interesting quote from Brave New World that caught my attention. Its happiness is never grand. What could that even mean? That's like saying grandparents aren't grand. or is it? I think what Huxley was saying is that happiness is never grand without love. Because what even is happiness in the first place? I think it's caring for people you love, doing things you love, being with people you love, and looking at the world with love. And I can say this even as a mere 12-year-old because every happy moment I've had was about just that. To someone else, my life may not seem very special. I live in an ordinary town, go to an ordinary school, wear ordinary clothes, and yet I'm happy because I love my family and my family loves me, and I do things that I love. When I'm not annoying my younger brother, I love writing and running. Sometimes others don't like what I write, and I may not always run as fast as others think I should, but I still love doing it, and it still makes me happy. And for me, that's what matters the most. I think love mattered to Thomas Jefferson and the other founding fathers a lot too. They loved and trusted their people, the Americans, so much that they gave power to them and established a democracy. And I think it must have been this love for them that held them back from becoming big brothers. And so, on July 4th, 1776, Thomas Jefferson wrote into existence the greatest line in the Declaration of Independence. All people are endowed with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's because of this freedom that Elon Musk, one of my heroes, came to America to pursue what makes him happy. And it's why Einstein and so many others chose to live here. So what's the most important thing to take away from 1984 and Brave New World? I think it's this. It's easy to let yourself rely on Big Brother and Soma for happiness until one day you wake up and you realize you're not really happy. What's not easy is finding your own happiness from a love within yourself. And ultimately, as I've learned from Winston, it's the only kind that can make you truly happy, because it's the only happiness that's truly yours. Thank you.